What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. So our ban list has finally been revealed. Konami finally got off their lazy butts and was like, "All right, man, we're sick of you guys coming to this freaking website every single day. We're just gonna go ahead and finally reveal it." Now, the first thing that I noticed is once again there is no end date. So I guess in 3 months this is gonna happen again. Like I don't know whether it will be if this format's gonna be 3 months or 3 months and 2 weeks or 6 months or whatever, but there is no effective end date to this ban list, so who the heck knows when it's going to end. You would think that the new list would start either October 1st or September 1st. Well, September 1st would be kind of like a short format, but you'd think maybe you think that it would end like October or September 30th, but I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, we're going to talk about the list because everybody is kind of everybody pretty much hates that ARG list, so we got that official list now. That's all we need to know. All right, first up, newly banned cards, Gen Releaser of Rituals. This one is one that like everybody, even people who play Necros wanted this, because when you play the mirror match, man, it was just so bad, like not being able to play if your opponent had a Colossalist. Like I've seen some finals where a player dropped the Gen Lock and somebody else didn't have an out to it, and it was just, like, it's one of the worst things that you will ever see. It's so freaking boring to watch. It is so degenerate, and I think Inch95 said it best. The Gen Lock being in the game makes Necros and like a whole lot of other decks play so many fucking terrible cards that they would never run in any other situation. Like when Necros first came out in the Secret Forces, would you have believed me if I would have said, you know what, I think that we should main deck, pretty sure we should main deck DD Warrior Lady and Bull Blader. Like, if I told you that that would be the norm, like, you would have told me that I was an idiot. But people actually were main decking those cards specifically because they were searchable by Rhoda. Just because they outed one play for your opponent's deck. Like, that's pretty bad. Even Book of Eclipse, that's not a card that Necros will probably play, because there's no, like, without Genlock, why would you even play Book of Eclipse? Like, I don't think I would play that. Like, I'd much rather play like Breakthrough Skill, or, you know, something else, like any other defensive card, Effect Veil or something. So Genlock kind of just had to go so that people could actually play Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, it wasn't a broken card by itself, but when they put rituals, when they essentially adjusted rituals for power creep and they made them better than everything else in the game, then I guess this card was more or less collateral damage. I'm perfectly fine with it being banned. I think everybody is. We got Lavaval Chain for our ban. We did it, Reddit. We got Lavaval Chain banned. I'm officially going to take credit for this one. I'm taking credit for getting Lavaval Chain banned, guys. I know that people were like, Cap, we hate you. You got Lavaval Chain banned. Sorry, but dude, it had to happen. People say, well, without the Gen Lock, it's not broken. No. Okay, see, there will always be new things that will abuse Lavaval Chain. That's the point. Like in a couple of months, or actually next month, you're going to see Clownblade's going to abuse it. They're going to send Trick Clown to the graveyard. They're instantly gonna summon it back. They'll probably get 1,000 Blades at the same time, and then it's like, oh, we got a free Exceed for 1,000 life points. If you remember 1 year ago, people were abusing the hell out of this card in Infernity, man, and that had nothing to do with the Gen Lock. Infernity would commonly drop 2 of these in a turn. Infernity won Worlds. They also got 6th place at US Nationals, and then the only reason that people stopped doing that is because Konami freaking ripped the deck in half, and they limited Soul Charge and Archfiend, so they made it so that you couldn't even play the deck. But there's also just the OTK, FTK nature of this card. It's a super duper enabler, and if you ever resolve the stack effect after resolving the dump effect, like, you almost always win the game. Like, have you ever seen a Necros player dump a Gen and then get the stack effect of like Manju and Senju and actually lose that duel? Like, they never lose the duel, because not only do they have the Gen Lock, but then during the next turn, like the turn after that, they're getting a Manju or Senju, so they're already getting another +1 to set up their wombo combos, so they always win. Take out Gen Lock, or excuse me, take out Lavaval Chain, you pretty much take out an enabler for all future degenerative combos. All right, looks like that is the only thing that is still, those are the only newly bans. Oh man, that means that I just noticed it. Oh, Stratos did not get free. RIP Stratos. Sorry, buddy. I'm hoping one day that this card will come off the ban list, but I guess it's still too broken, man. Stratos is still too broken. Confirm. Stratos is still too broken. All right, so we got our limited list. Newly limited Sharit, Strategist of the Necros. Okay, interesting. I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of Necros cards that I thought would get hit, Strategist was definitely not the one that I thought would get limited. Like, if I'm thinking of limited to ones, I thought Trishula and a Unicorn would have definitely been more likely. Although, I guess these are only effect monsters, so they could be also limited. Now, you know what? One thing I'm going to actually talk about. I like the fact that they didn't ban Necros of Trishula, because I feel like with Necros of Trishula, it's like you can't even play the fucking deck anymore. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they didn't limit it, because you see that there are no rituals limited. But with Sharit hit, okay, I kind of think if you hit Sharit, then there's no reason to limit Cycle like they did in the OCG, because 90% of the time that people use Cycle, like, they almost always tribute Sharit. Like, you really don't see people tribute a Manju or a Senju to summon a Unicorn. Like, that just really does. Like, they only do that when you mind crush the Sharits, and then they're kind of forced to do a play. But every time that you see Cycle used, it's always with Sharit. So I feel like not only does that hurt that play, but then, you know, like, a lot of times you would have people, they would tribute the Sharit in their hand, or from Valkyries, and they would draw 2 cards and get a search. Like, that play is just probably not going to happen anymore, because you won't be able to do that play and do the Cycle play in the same game. So you kind of have to pick or choose, which meant that there was also no reason to hit Valkyries. So I like the Sharit hit, and I also kind of mean, will the deck still run 3 Rhoda with only 4 targets? Like, you still have Colossus and Sharit, but with Sharit now being limited, it's like, really, should you still run Rhoda? Also, I think that if you get mind crushed off your Cycle play now, you just fucking get raped. Like, it was already bad, but now it's like, it's really, really bad, because, I mean, you just lost your only Sharit. I guess you're gonna have to use Unicorn to kind of dig your Sharit out of your graveyard a lot more. But I feel like this was a very good hit to Necros. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Oh, snap. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let's go to TCG Player right quick. See if we can pick ourselves up a copy of Trishula. I think that is... I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who are playing Yang Zing are going to be so happy. The biggest issue is... damn, it's still $23. All right, well, fuck. Okay, well, the dream is dead of picking up a cheap Trishula. I thought we'd be able to find one for like $3. Trishula has never been reprinted, essentially. It's only had 2 prints, and both of these came out during the during like the 5Ds era. So, you know, like, that was forever and a day ago, man. They gotta reprint Trishula, bro. you can't have this card now limited in the TCG, and then like only have 2 prints, and they're both from like, I think 2009 2010ish. Yeah, I feel like it was about that time when Trishula came out. So I feel like this is necessary. The OCG has had this card, I believe, for at least 9 months. I want to say more like a year. But the biggest thing about Trishula is it gives us some good freaking rank, or some good level 9s in the game. We don't have good level 9s. Don't tell me about Mistworm. That card is just not Trishula. It's not even that good, because if your opponent doesn't have... Like, if your opponent doesn't have cards on the field, Mistworm is terrible. But Trishula does not need to hit a card on the field. It can hit a card in the hand in the graveyard. Trishula is so good. Now, the original reason that Trishula got banned was, a lot of people have said, because it was not once per turn effect, which meant that actually Infernity could drop multiple of these on you like turn 1. I've actually seen Infernity drop 5 Trishulas in the first turn. Now, with one Archfiend, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. And I'm not sure that build was super consistent, but Yang Zing will use this card immediately. Like, this card is even probably better than Chofing in Yang Zing, just because it's fucking Trishula, bro. Like, I'm so excited. We will build this on stream, by the way. Like, we will definitely build Yang Zing. I'm gonna learn how to play that deck on stream just for fucking Trishula. Let's see. More limited cards. Looks like there are no more limited cards. Okay, so the Necros hits were apparently very minimal, unless they did something on the semi-limited list. But so far, I'm liking it. I would have liked to see Reinforcements of the Army go to 1. That is a card that I really, really believe that they need to address, because too much searching in the game, guys. They need to go ahead and hit that. For our semi-limits, they've got Atlantean Dragoons. Good. They're putting Mermills back at... they're trying to restore those decks. Although, see, if you're going to restore the Cosmo Blazer decks, like the Cosmo Blazer Abyss Rising decks, then come on, guys. You also gotta restore the decks from Photon Shockwave / Order Order of Chaos. That's not Infernity. That's Insector slash Wind Up slash like Dino Rabbit. You got to restore those decks because I'm looking and I see that Dragonfly and Hornet are still limited, and I also see that where are you? I'm pretty sure Wind Up Magician is somewhere here. Wind Up Magician is still limited too. In the OCG, all of those cards are like at 2. I don't think Dragonfly might be at 2 in the OCG, but I know that Hornets, Wind Up Magician, like they're both at like 2 in Japan, and Wind Up Mighty is obviously still banned in the TCG too. So it's like, come on, man, you got it. Those Order of Chaos, Photon, Shockwave decks, you gotta restore those too if you're gonna start restoring the Cosmo Blazer, Abyss Dweller like era. And also Dragon Ravine is semi-limited. I think I talked about this when Dragon Ravine got unbanned. This card's gonna go to 3. Not this format, but during the next formats. I've played Dragunities. Dragon Ravine, like with the new Dragunity Spear, it's still really great in the deck. It's still a must, but there's no way to exploit the card. Like outside of discarding a Zephyros, there is no way to exploit this card because you just don't have the tribute fodder anymore. Like the Dragon Rulers were the tribute fodder because you just discard them and then you banish them with the effects and you never really go minus. So actually you'd end up going plus. Without the Dragon Rulers, there's no way to exploit Dragon's Ravine. So like it should be at 3. And then for the no longer limited, Glow Up Bulb, Sinister Serpent, Dark Strike Fighter, 7-star Sword, Temple of the Kings, and Exchange of Spirit. All of the cards that got errated, like Sinister Serpent, Dark Strike Fighter, Temple of the Kings, and Exchange of Spirit, they're all terrible. So that makes perfect sense. They honestly just need to re-errata Sinister Serpent to make it like the old effect, because this shit is just god awful right now. As soon as I saw that errata, I was like, okay, this card's terrible. No one will ever play it. People were like, no, Cap, you can still use it in. Nope. No one's gonna use it in Shadows. Nope, it's terrible. I think that the only card that might see some play here at 3 is maybe 7-star Sword, because there are you could actually wombo combo it with the new Cosmos. Cosmo Forerunner is level 7. You could banish it, draw 2 cards. You could use Cosmo Town to just return the Forerunner right to your hand. So maybe that if they get another 7 in the deck, then yeah, 7-star Sword becomes like great in that deck, because the whole deck revolves around banishing and then like adding stuff back to your hand that's banished. So this card could be used in that deck. Outside of that, I don't really think so. Glow Up Bulb has always been, in my opinion, a 3 or 0 card, because you can only use it once per duel anyway. So like, who's gonna run 2 Glow Up Bulb? Like, there's no point. Run Spore. You know what I mean? Like there's no point of running Glow Up Bulb if you can only use the effect once in the duel. So this looks like a very minimal list. It looks like they just kind of did a bunch of tweaks. I think that they really were looking at the players, because there is no way in the past that they would have hit something like Gen Release or Rituals if they were not looking at the player base. Even just looking at their tournaments might not tell you that Gen Release or Rituals is like a freaking go-to play that just dominates the format, because if you remember, after the wind-up loop, Konami never hit Wind-Up Hunter. Konami of the OCG did, but not in the TCG they didn't. In the OCG, they banned Wind-Up Hunter immediately. In the TCG, they didn't. They kind of did like other hits. So this card is very, very comparable to the Wind-Up Hunter, because it's kind of used for like a turn 1 power play that's pretty hard to stop in the best deck of the format, and it's kind of like a win condition if you resolve it. The Wind-Up Hunter, you could take 3 cards out of your opponent's hand. With Jin, you can stop your opponent from playing fucking Yu-Gi-Oh. So I think that in the past they would not have hit Gen Release or Rituals, but now they're actually looking at what the player base wants. There are a couple of things I would have liked to see. Again, like Rhoda going to 1. I would have liked to see Mighty at 1. I would have liked to see Hornets and like Magician at 2, but I think I can live with this list, because Necrons are still very playable under this list. I mean, they can't really lock you out of the duel anymore, and I don't even know if they'll run like 2 cycles anymore, but because of Shuri being hit. But they're still a very good deck. Don't be fooled. I love the fact that Trishula is now in the game. We needed a good level 9 in the game. I think that Yang Zing will be probably the best deck to use the card, and I like the fact that I got Lavaval Chain bans. I'm calling credit on that one. So I think we did it, Reddit. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching as always.